Hello Primary 5. Here we are at the final operation, division, the dreaded division. Fear not, you can do this. Let's just take it calmly, step by step. Pause the video if you want to write down these questions and have a go. If you can't remember, just keep watching and we'll do it together. So let's start with the mild division, 669 divided by 3. I'm going to draw my bus stop for this. There's my bus stop. Now remember, the small number is outside the bus stop in the rain. The big number is inside the bus stop under the shelter. 1 digit per square. The answer to the division we're going to write on the roof of our bus stop. So when we're setting out our calculations in our jotter, we need to make sure we've left enough space on the roof and that it's not all getting squashed up with the calculation up above. So that's something to think about. Right, unlike the other operations, addition, subtraction and multiplication, with division we start with the biggest bit of the number. So instead of starting with our units, we're going to start with our hundreds in this case. And we're going to say to ourselves, how many groups of 3 are there in 6? Okay, 600s in fact. So, how many groups of 3 are there in 6? There are 2, because 2 times 3 equals 6. So we'll put the 2 directly above that 6. Now let's move on to the tens bit. How many groups of 3 are there in 6? Sounds familiar. We've already worked that one out. There's 2 groups of 3 in 6. And then the last bit of the number, 9. How many groups of 3 are there in 9? There are 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. So let's pop our answer. There are 3, and that gives us the answer 223. That was pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the medium one. So I'm moving down my jotter a bit. I want to make sure I've got space. There's nothing worse than calculations that are all falling over each other and squashed together. It's terrible for the poor teacher who's got to try and work out where your answer is. Okay, so there's the bus stop. The big number is underneath the shelter inside the bus stop, and the small number, the 4 in this instance, is outside the shelter in the cold. Right. 4. We're looking at the big bit of the number first of all, the hundreds. How many groups of 4 are there in 7? Well, I can get one group of 4 in 7. 1 times 4 is 4. So I've got a few left over. 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 3 left over. So those 3 hundredths I'm going to pop over there. Now I'm going to ask myself, how many 4s are there in 33? Again, your times tables facts were going to help you here. I know that there are 8 groups of 4 in 33. 8 times 4 is 32. We've got 33 here, so I've got 1 extra. 1 left over, 1 10 left over. I'm going to pop that in my units column. So now I've got 12 units there. So the last thing I need to do is ask myself, how many groups of 4 are there in 12? And the answer is 3. So 732 divided by 4 gives us 183. Right, let's move on to the smoking hot one. Write that down here. a bigger number, 9,406 divided by 7. 7 is the hardest times table, I think. Right, let's see how to get on with this one. We just follow exactly the same process. How many groups of 7 are there in 9? Well, I can get one group of 7 in 9. 1 times 7 is 7. I'm counting on 8, 9. That leaves me 2. So I'm going to pop those 2 extra hundreds, thousands actually, there. Now we've got 24 in this square. How many groups of 7 are there in 24? Well, I know that 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to put a 3 here because there are 3 groups of 7 in 24. 3 times 7 is 21, 22, 23, 24. I've got 3 left over. So those 3 that I've got left over, I'm going to pop in the next column. Now I have 30. How many groups of 7 are there in 30? Well, I know that there are 4 groups of 7 in 30. 7 times 4 is 28. We've got 30 here, so we've got 2 left over. 28, 29, 30, 2 left over. And finally we've got to the units bit of this rather large number. How many groups of 7 are there in 26? And I know that the answer to that is 3. Because 3 times 7 is 21. Now I've not quite finished because this number here is 26. So I've got a few left over. If I count on from 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, I've got 5 left over. So at the moment we're going to show that as a remainder. So I'm going to put a little R that stands for remainder or leftover, and I'm going to show that we've got 5 left over. Later on you will learn how to show that as a decimal, but at the moment we're just going to write remainder 5. Okay, so that was a little bit trickier. There's lots to think about with division, but we just have to take it carefully and double check those division facts. That will help you. So Primary 5, I hope that has reminded you how to complete calculations using the 4 operations when we're using those written methods. We are going to keep practicing those. So on Teams you will find a new Chilli challenge sheet, just like the one you had last term and the term before. Every single week we would like you to complete at least 4 calculations. 1 addition, 1 subtraction, 1 multiplication and 1 division. You can select the level of challenge that is appropriate for you. You can do the mild ones, you can do the medium, you can do the hot, hot, hot. You might want to start with the medium and then challenge yourself on the hot, or you might want to try the mild and then try the medium. If you're feeling really keen, you could do all 12 calculations. Each week we will go over those calculations with you and we'll see if we're managing to get those methods from your short-term memory firmly into your long-term memory. So good luck with that and keep practicing. Thank you.